guys, it's Brienne here, and so I have another manhwa recommendation type video. This one is going to be for blue-haired female leads. I have been trying to make my manhwa recommendation videos more into more subcategories, if you will, and so I haven't done blue-haired female leads yet. So if you're unfamiliar with my channel, basically I am just going to talk about some manhwa recommendations I've either read or that I've seen on social media and that I want to eventually check out. I kind of go over the synopsis and then I kind of ask you guys if you've heard of them or if you've read them and what your thoughts were. So yeah, let's just get right into this video. Alright, and so the first manhwa is a manhwa I have talked about before. It is either called Daughter of the Archmage or the Archmage's Daughter, like always with manhwa and that. Sometimes the English translations can be a little bit different, so let's just pop into the synopsis. I have read this one before. I don't know if I've actually talked about it on my channel. According to my Kitsu, I have read 67 chapters, and so this is what it's about. Mabel had lived a life of abuse under her parents. Upon discovery that these parents aren't her true biological parents and that somewhere her father exists, Mabel sets off on a search for him. Honestly, the art style's pretty, even though I'm not usually into blue-haired characters, but I don't really remember anything of this one. So if you guys have read this before, I'd love to know your thoughts. I know Kitsu's not up to date as much these days, but it does still say it's publishing. I'm not sure how accurate that is. Alright, and so the next manhwa is another manhwa I've mentioned before on this channel. According to Kitsu, I have read 49 chapters of this one, and it does still say publishing as well. I will say, their hair is very, very light, that it's almost a mixture of white and blue, but I'm still going to classify it as a blue-haired female lead. And so the synopsis is Lillian McKellian, the girl who wanted to avoid a bad end, willingly went to the insomniatic emperor in place of her sister, Leyland. She is tasked to help the sleepless emperor who was cursed by a witch by using her ability to induce sleep whenever she touches another person's body with her lips. Can Lillian survive being with the emperor, Kaldorf? I do think I didn't mind this one, but a lot of reactions, so basically people can write almost tweets in 140 characters for a reaction, don't seem that positive for it. So now I'm questioning if I did like it. I did give it a 7.5 out of 10, but like I said, I read this a long time ago, so my opinion might have changed. Alright, and the next one actually isn't one that I've read before. It is called I Wasn't the Cinderella, and oh my god, the art style is beautiful. The female lead has a dark, almost a sapphire blue hair, and let me read the synopsis for it. People called Terrell Cinderella. It was meant to be a charming nickname for her, who was a mere baron's daughter before falling in love with the second son of a marquis. However, one day he abruptly bid adieu, leaving Terrell wounded by her lover's betrayal. And suddenly the so-called King of the North, Duke of Ryan, stood in front of her. He identified himself as Terrell's biological father, whom she assumed was no longer alive. Because she became the Duke's daughter overnight, she had to put in a lot of work to become the Duke's successor. 3 years later, Terrell, seeking vengeance on her ex-lover, offers Ciso, the Marquis's eldest son, a contract of engagement to take away what her former lover desired most, the title of Marquis. As the two were engaged, they became more aware of one another, and as Terrell becomes closer to Ciso, she learns an unexpected secret about him. Will Cinderella find love by the end of this tale? This sounds so interesting. Oh my god, I definitely want to read this. I will definitely be reading this sometime soon. I feel like you could just tell as I was reading it, I was getting more and more into it. Alright, so this one might be cheating a bit because looking at the female lead, her hair's almost like aquamarine, but it's called Little Princess Mint. I feel like that almost means her hair should be mint, but I wouldn't say her hair's mint. I have not read this one before, so let's read the synopsis together and see if I'm as into it as that Cinderella one. Mint is the most miserable girl in the orphanage. Every day she received all kinds of abuse and she suffers through it until one day when a gentleman appears in the orphanage and said, "I'll take this child." The man that became the supporter of Mint is a great aristocrat of Igdonia. Is it okay for me to stay here? Mint, who was an orphan girl, turned into a little princess. So this one doesn't sound like it will have a lot of romance, or if it does, it will probably be a bit of a time jump. just because she's from an orphanage. So it's kind of giving off Who Made Me a Princess vibes in a way, but like her dad hated her, so maybe not. Alright, and so the next one is another one I haven't read before. It is called Flower and the Beast. The male lead looks like he has long red hair, and like I feel like I haven't seen a long-haired male lead in a long time, so interesting. It is finished and it has 120 chapters. Like I said, I haven't read any of it. It does seem to have a good community approval rating on Kitsu, but let's read it. A heart-throbbing royal fantasy comic on the romance of Mu Young, a fierce beast who disguises as a puppy to gain love, and Hai Yeon, a girl who raises and trains a large puppy oblivious to its real identity. So this personally, I don't think is going to be something that I'm too into. The art style is really pretty, so I feel like that's why I wrote it down and like was interested in it. But that just doesn't really seem like something that's up my alley, but I feel like it could be up others, so that's why I wanted to mention it as well. And alright, so the next manhwa is a manhwa I have definitely mentioned multiple times, I feel like, on my channel. It is called Lady Baby. And so originally I gave it a 7.5 out of 10, but I feel like I'd lower the rating now. I've read 136 chapters so far, and so I'll read the synopsis and I'll get into it. I hate these names. Calliope has suffered through nature's law and many accidents. Her family was murdered and an ongoing war ended her life, but she traveled back in time to when she was born. While Calliope slowly grows, will she be able to figure out who killed her family and stop them in time? So I believe I left a reaction on here that actually got quite a few likes. So I said I genuinely do enjoy this, but sometimes she can be a little too much, especially when she's technically only a child. So usually I do enjoy these like reincarnation, reborn stories. But this one, since she has that knowledge, she's just a little bit obnoxious at times, and it's like, okay, I understand you're older than a 4-year-old, but you're not acting at all like a 4-year-old, and it's to the point that everyone should just be like, what? Like, I don't know. Like, I know this is a manhwa, and it's like make-believe and all that, but like there is just times that she's a little bit too much. But I am interested in the male lead, so I did like this one. I'm surprised it's not finished yet. At least Kitsu doesn't say it's finished yet, so I am curious. Alright, and so the next manhwa is another manhwa I haven't read. It is called Accidental Warrior, and looking at this photo, I like how the male lead looks, but I don't think I'm crazy about the art style, so I am curious what drew me into this. But let's read the synopsis. Eunha Cheon, probably butchered that, was just an ordinary teenage girl until she woke up one day and discovered that she was not Eunha Cheon anymore, but a witch named Blythe in a magical world. Fearful of prejudice and desirous of a quiet life, she hides the fact that she's a witch, but this becomes tricky when the arrival of a beautiful fairy who won't stop calling her a warrior. She doesn't want to be a warrior or anyone's hero. All she wants is an ordinary life. But as she learns more about her identity and her world, will she ultimately get what she wants? So interesting. This one does sound interesting. I don't know if it's something that's really up my alley, but I feel like other people might enjoy it, especially like if you're looking for manhwa with blue-haired characters. So I figured I'd leave it in there. Alright, so the next one is one I haven't read before, and it is a mouthful. So it is called Saving the Villain Who Was Abandoned by the Female Lead. So this looks interesting. It doesn't have the highest community rating, but we'll read it. And it looks like the main character is a child. I tried to save the sub-male lead who was poisoned by the female lead, but an accident happened. He said he would repay the favor, but he randomly sent me to the most notorious villain, the family of assassins. Did not see that coming. The family that consists of the oldest brother, a knight in the Imperial Army preparing for a revolt, the second brother, a reverend with a large bounty on his head, and a father who is the greatest villain of all time. Will I be safe in this villainous family throughout my 3-year contract? Yeah, I don't know about this one for me, but like I said, in case this is something that someone else would find interesting. Alright, so the next one is one I haven't read before, and it seems like there's a few different translations. So when I wrote it down, it is In This Life, I Am the Master. According to Kitsu, it can be Sister, I am the queen in this life, or In this life, I've become the queen. So just bear that in mind if you are looking for this one. This one, I love the cover photo. It looks like it might be like, have 2 love interests possibly. And I'm a sucker for love triangles. But let's hop in. Her fiance, her sister, and her parents. Oh, I've seen this name before in another manhwa, and I still don't know how to say it. I'm not even gonna try. Returns 14 years from the past, the day she was cast aside by everyone. Shit, I am trying to court you right now. From her fiancé who acted much different than he did in the past. Don't cry. Don't you know how pretty you are to me? To the kind prince who fell for her at first sight. This time she will get revenge on everyone and become queen. I love a strong female lead, so I might enjoy this. And like the art style looks so nice. And I totally just realized I wrote Accidental Warrior down twice. So this video apparently is not going to have 10 manhwa, it's only going to have 9 because I don't know another one off the top of my head right away. So for this video, it's only going to be 9, which like in my head that's going to bother me, but it's okay. It's okay. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff down below. If you have read any of these, please let me know your thoughts, especially the ones that I'm not too interested in. I'd like to know how you guys feel about them. And as much as I enjoy Kitsu, I'd love to know what other like anime and manga trackers, manhwa trackers people use, because I love Kitsu, but I know there's not a lot of mods on it, so I know things aren't always up to date. So I'd love to know other people's thoughts and things. So please let me know what you guys use. But yeah, and if you also have any recommendations, leave them down below for myself as well as others. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff down below, and hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.